Autumn. You're in a hurry. Stop. Eat. You have plenty of time. Mom said as she blocked my path to the door. Tia comes back today. I want to get there early, I protested. Eat, Mom demanded. You have a full day, and I can't have my blindside tackle pooping out his varsity debut. I rolled my eyes, pretending to be annoyed, but I loved that my mom was my proudest supporter. We lived in a small town where football was important. We had all been conditioned and trained since elementary school. Excessive, maybe, but ultimately the weak were weeded out and the strong remained. I was one of the strong. Mom placed a plate of eggs and bacon on the counter and challenged me to disobey her. She wasn't a large woman, but she was my mom, and you didn't refuse food from your mom. That, and I was hungry. I was always hungry. Mom was an accountant. She had a great mind for numbers and thankfully had passed the practical side of money on to me. She managed the books for about a dozen area farms, but she said her most important job was raising healthy boys. My younger brother, Jesse, had random allergies, a list of foods, seasonal, and environmental. She'd always experimented with Jesse's diet because he needed to stay as goo and rash-free as possible. For years, she researched the best foods for allergy-prone kids and athletes. Jessie was showing some skill in the field too, and she was determined to give us whatever advantage she could. After middle school, I'd grown several inches and gained about 25 pounds. No one complained. The JV coaches were so excited when I arrived for summer workouts. Mom was an excellent cook, and my appetite had doubled. Hunger pains were common, and until she made the changes, I feared I'd devour myself from the inside. Was it possible for a stomach to eat itself? She did even more research, and we began carb loading in the off-seasons. It was awesome. I was able to work all winter and spring and continue to gain muscle and mass. It didn't hurt that I was still growing. My body seemed to agree with the dietary changes. To avoid any hunger pains, I just ate about everything she put in front of me. I scarfed down the plate of food, kissed Mom on the cheek, and jumped in my truck to go to school. No more bus. I'd been saving for 3 summers to buy my vehicle. It was a gray, full-size Silverado pickup with leather interior. It wasn't new, but it was new to me. Mom and Dad had always promised to match funds when it came time to buy my first car. I think Dad had to dip into their savings to match my budget. He tried to dissuade me, but I knew what I wanted. It was probably more vehicle than most 16-year-old boys needed, but I didn't consider myself a typical 16-year-old boy. I'd been working since I was 12. I'd been saving since before then. It was just the way I was wired. Dad questioned me at length. This is tapping out your savings. What about college? You need to be thinking about that as well. I'm not spending all my savings, I argued. I'm not stupid, Dad. And I still have 2 years to consider college. After football, I'll be able to work more. He didn't disagree anymore after that discussion and honestly seemed excited for me when we'd finally found the truck. I was a big guy, strong and responsible. I may have been young, but I worked hard, and people hired me and paid me well. I also reasoned that a big vehicle allowed me to haul stuff and make even more money. I'd already made a couple $100 in the month I'd owned it. I was determined to have my own wheels before the first day of school. Check.